sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
And good morning. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I am the aforementioned Glenn Clark. Grant DeVivo is back with me today, as he will be all week, in for Griffin, and we've got a lot to do on the program. Coming up today, our buddy Bill Ripken is going to join us, MLB Network analyst and former Oriole. He will we'll talk some Orioles, talk some All-Star break, but he's also going to tell us about the UA Next All-America game coming to Camden Yards and how Ripken Baseball is partnering up with them. So look forward to that. Also, we wanted to do it yesterday. It didn't work out time-wise, but today, for sure, this is if this, I don't do this a lot, but I'm going to make a guarantee. If we don't catch up with Aaron Wiggins, Maryland basketball legend and now NBA champion with the Oklahoma City Thunder, if we miss him today, I will never do this show again. It's bold. It's bold.
I've never heard you say that before.
If we don't talk to Aaron Wiggins today on this show, there will never be another episode of Glenn Clark Radio. And it's my promise. That's...
Griffin Bass Radio?
No, we just shut it all down. But I don't think we have to worry about that because I think we're talking to Aaron Wiggins.
We are.
We recorded with him yesterday, so I know it just there was a timing issue during the show yesterday. It was a whole thing, but we're going to talk to Aaron Wiggins. Anyway, so yeah, that's coming up today, and also this morning. Former Ravens wide receiver, now with the Washington Commanders. Don't love that part, but really love this guy, Chris Moore, who continues to be a huge part of Show Your Soft Side and cares deeply about animals in our community, despite the fact that he's been gone from Baltimore for years now at this point. We're going to chat with Chris Moore a little bit later on because this Thursday night is Show Your Soft Side's annual or biannual Softie Homecoming event out at Owings Mills, and looking forward to seeing him there. So all that coming up on the program today. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Big UFC card coming up on Saturday night. There's no better place to watch UFC fights than Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. At this point, UFC pay-per-views, I don't know what the actual number is, but I believe they cost you something along the lines of $4,742. If not, it's close. Or you got to try to stream it illegally and run the risk of that being the day that the government's really pissed off. And considering that our current president is in bed with the UFC, I could imagine that they might start getting a little bit more aggressive about that issue. The point to all of this is, what's much more pleasant than having the screen freeze right as the fight is getting going is to have a table or a nice reclining chair inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel for you to be able to sit back, enjoy, watch the fights, spend that money instead on delicious food, maybe get a room, make an entire night out of it, win some money at Live Casino and Hotel as you hang out and watch Max Holloway battle with Dustin Poirier at UFC 318. So that's Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland. Congratulations to the Big Dumper. I did not watch any of it until the final round. And everybody kept tweeting about, oh, what a good show it is. And it's something I remember every year about the Home Run Derby is that I don't care, but I do get the fun. The fun part of it is just like, hey, this doesn't matter, but it's neat to watch these dudes crush baseballs. And when you can watch it in that context, you remember like, oh, right, I don't hate this. I don't. There's no reason for me to be antagonistic towards it. I'm largely indifferent towards the Home Run Derby. It's just not my thing. But then you get the thing where it's his dad pitching to him and it's his brother catching, and you're like, oh, man, that's cool. The way that we felt about it when it was Adley Rutschman and his father out in Seattle a few years ago. It is neat. It's a neat feeling. It's a neat story. And Cal Raleigh has been the best story in baseball this year. If you can detach yourself, if you just looked at baseball, what has baseball had going on? If you were talking to someone who doesn't care at all about the sport, this is the old Rorschach test, right? Like if there was an alien that you're trying to introduce to baseball, what's cool? What should I be paying attention to? This year, you would point them towards Cal Raleigh because it really is insane. 38 home runs from a catcher. It's nuts. It's honestly badass what the guy's doing. So best story of the first half, marquee event that can use some juice. It's good for baseball that it was Cal Raleigh that was shining on this bright stage and coming through and putting on a good show and doing it with his family and allowing people that maybe don't even know that much about baseball or certainly aren't Mariners fans to connect with the story because it's a story about family. It was great. It was great. There was some controversy about I guess there was a tiebreaker that involved who hit the longer home run, and it came down to like inch. I don't care. This is not a relevant topic to me or one that you will get me to feel anything towards whatsoever. I mean, at that point, they could play Yahtzee.
Just let the math do its work.
I just don't care what the tiebreakers are in the home run derby. This is not
just math.
It's just a television show. I said this last week about the All-Star game. A lot of people worked up about the fact that when they needed another pitcher in the National League for the All-Star game, they went with Jacob Misiorowski, the Miz, who has made all of 5 starts. Now, they've been very good starts. He's pitching to a sub-1 whip. He's pitching to a sub-3 ERA. He throws the ball 1,000,000 miles an hour. He's a very exciting baseball player. And that, of course, is the reason why he's in the All-Star game. Because he's kind of a phenomenon. He's someone that if you're baseball, you want casual fans to be aware of. Because the eternal baseball problem is it's a regional sport, right? Like we're all very invested in the team that we watch, and we're not very invested in anyone else. We're not invested in national storylines. There are plenty of people that watch the Orioles that have no idea that Cal Raleigh is having a 38 home run season. And last night, if they happened to pay attention to the home run derby because it was what was going on, they were kind of introduced to the incredible season, the unprecedented season for both a catcher and a switch hitter that Cal Raleigh's been having to this point. And that's kind of the deal here, too. If we introduce you to Jacob Misiorowski, is he definitely or definitively better? Is he definitely going to be the greatest pitcher of this generation? No. But if we introduce you to him and he looks like a phenomenon, then there's a chance that you'll pay attention during the broadcast of the story and you'll be interested in it. And then maybe the next time that you're flipping through channels and the Brewers game is on MLB Network and you see that Jacob Misiorowski is pitching, you're going to say to yourself, I'll linger with that. I'll watch that. I'll spend some time with that because it's interesting. That's the reason why Jacob Mizorowski, and I don't even know who the other options would have been, admittedly, to take this spot on the National League All-Star team. I don't pay that close of attention to it. But that's why they chose the Miz to get the spot. He's the Miz, and he's awesome. And the thing for all of the hand-wringing, that's okay. And that's the difficult part to say out loud, because it feels like there's supposed to be some holier than thou. Well, this is shameful. This is wrong. Someone else is more deserving. Someone else has been working hard for their entire life just to have a spot. The All-Star Game is a television show. Never, ever, ever forget that. The All-Star Game is a television show. The mistake we've made is in the messaging. Because we, not just the media, but in general, culture has accepted all-star appearances as being defining for someone's career. That's on us. As I always like to say, this is about literacy, media literacy. That's an us problem. Major League Baseball, we deal with this with like the NFL and Pro Bowls versus All Pros. Like, we know the better way of defining a player's greatness is their number of All Pros. But it's still not quite as bad as the baseball apples to apples. In baseball, someone could have a really good 3 months, not even 3 months, be voted into the All-Star game, and then suck for the entirety of the second half. And we define their season as having been an all-star season. I didn't provide, I should have gone back over and looked at guys that were all-stars, that when you went back and looked at their numbers for the entirety of the year, we would say, wow, that wasn't even good. But then when we talk about them, we say, well, he was an all-star in 2002. As if that means that his 2002 season was exceptional, when it could have just been that he had a really good May. And when he had a really good May, that got him on the radar to get into the All-Star game. The problem isn't that The Miz is an all-star. The problem is that we're going to define someone's greatness or their accomplishments by whether or not they were all-stars, when that's a bad way of doing it. We know it's a bad way of doing it because it's not even an honest reflection of who the best players were. Someone could just be very popular and get voted in. That right now there are genuinely people that believe that Caitlin Clark is the best player in the WNBA because she's the most popular. She's not. She's not even having a particularly good season. Now, I think she's a great player, and she's going to be okay, and she's dealt with some injuries, and I think she's going to be all right. But she's wildly popular, and because she's wildly popular, we just think that means she's great. And to be fair, I think she's overall great. She's just not been great this year. But she was the leading vote getter for the All-Star game. We replace popularity with greatness. And I don't know of a glowing example of this year of someone, because again, I don't care enough about the All-Star game to be dissecting it. My point is, instead of freaking out about The Miz, the answer is to find a better way to define someone's greatness. Major League Baseball has attempted to start doing all MLB teams at the end of the year. That's 1,000,000 times a better way to define someone's accomplishments than were you good enough or was your team crappy enough and you just happened to be the best of the worst that you were invited to a television show at the midway point of the season. Like, saying that Ty Wigginton was an all-star isn't really an accomplishment. It's saying, my God, what a wretched team you were on, and someone had to go. There's no world where we should look back and say Ty Wigginton was a good baseball player because he made an all-star game. We have to be the ones to say this isn't the way to define it. Now, some of the hand-rigging is, yeah, but this is neat for the players. You can see how much it means to Ryan O'Hearn. 100% I can see how much it means to Ryan O'Hearn, and I think it's great. I love that Ryan O'Hearn is getting this opportunity to go beyond baseball's biggest stage. That's neat for him. You're happy for him. But that doesn't mean anything actually. Whatever type of season he ends up having, I don't know. Maybe he'll have a great year when it's all said and done, or maybe he'll get dealt the Seattle, and he'll kind of fall off the cliff. I don't know. I hope not, because I like Ryan O'Hearn. It's neat to be able to go, but we have to remember it's a television show. I have said before, I have mild interest, and I don't know how much I'll watch tonight. It won't be a lot, but I will have mild interest in watching for the first time in forever because of ABS. That'll get me to watch tonight for at least a little bit. I want to see it in action. I want to see automated balls and strikes because I think it should be the future of baseball, and I think it will improve the sport greatly. The players are opposed to it. I am not. I think we should be moving towards ABS. I think it'll make for a better TV product, if nothing else. So I will tune in for at least a little bit in order to see that. I certainly will not watch 9 innings. That will not happen. You just can't get me to do that. But I'll tune in for a little bit to see the ABS thing in motion. So I don't know how I got there. I went from the home run derby, which was fun. Oh, it was a TV show. That's how I got there. It's a TV show. Always remember, these things are television programs. Who was it last night? That was it Brent Rooker? Was that who got?
He's the one that complained about the inches thing.
Dude.
So what?
I mean, I don't know how to tell you. Love you. God bless you. You might be the nicest guy. You might walk grannies across the street. I don't know. But no one cares. No one. It's the wrong thing. The things, again, be angry about calls that are missed or rules issues in the real thing. This is a television show. You
know what the kids would say these days?
What?
Weight room.
Oh yeah, just hit it a little bit.
Hit the weight.
Hit it a foot harder, and you're, that's where if the players are like, dude, we're never gonna compete again unless you fix the tiebreaker. That dude, my God, imagine spending 5 minutes thinking about it. You got to go be part of a neat TV show. As you can see afterwards, Cal Raleigh was like, yeah, this is fun. Like, it doesn't change your life in any way that you won the home run derby. There's nothing. It does not define you as a baseball player. It's neat for one night, and then we all by next week we have forgotten most anything that ever occurred in the home run derby. I can tell you that Cal Raleigh won last night. I could not tell you who won last year, and I know they brought it up last night. I know they were talking about it, but I don't remember. I think it was a Dominican player because I think they were talking about how Junior Caminero was going to keep the run of Dominican dominance going. But I don't remember who. Couldn't tell you. It's just not that relevant. But bully for Cal Raleigh, and the All-Star game is on tap tonight. All right, today's show is also brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. I have been telling you for weeks, I've been taking peptide treatments, and I didn't know what I was getting into to begin with, and I didn't know exactly what it would mean for me. But what I can tell you is that it's been very beneficial. I wake up in the morning, I'm not as sore as I have been. I'm in my 40s, and you just know how this feels like when you wake up in the morning and you just, it stinks. And it's not just that they deal with. They deal with folks that are dealing with erectile dysfunction, or if you think you're low T, you can sign up for a complimentary testosterone test by going to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Give them a call, Game Day Men's Health in Columbia, 443-266-3505. I go out to Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, and you can give them a call, 443-264-4454. Or if you are out west, then check out Game Day Men's Health in Frederick, 240-931-3717. Joining us now here on GCR, one of our favorites, of course, former Oriole. You see him on MLB Network, and there's a really cool event. We talk a lot about all the very, cool sports events coming to our area, and there's a very cool one that's coming up this September here in Baltimore. He's going to tell us about it now. It's the UA Next All-American Game. He is the great Bill Ripken, and he's back with us here on GCR. Bill, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's always good to catch up with you. Thank you so much for taking some time for us this morning.
Yeah, no problem. You're talking about this cool event, and, baseball is a little bit of a unique sport. We just had the draft that went on in MLB, and it doesn't have the fanfare of the NFL, NHL, NBA, because those guys get drafted and you see them like the next year in the big leagues. But this event is going to be the future of baseball, and we've had quite a few players come through this event over the years, a lot of number one picks that are superstars in the game right now since the very beginning of this UA event that we pulled off the Baseball Factory All-America game. So it's pretty cool.
Can you go over that list for us, for people that don't know who those players are that have been a part of this over the years, Bill?
Well, I went through a run where I was doing it in the dugout probably 10, 12 years, and we had it in Wrigley in Chicago. And I remember one of my squads, I had Bobby Witt Jr. playing short, I had Gunnar Henderson playing third, and I had Anthony Volpe playing second,
Decent
and
team.
I had Corbin Carroll playing center field. So it's fair to say I won that game. But 36 of the top players, 18 and 18. There's usually 9 pitchers a year, sometimes 10, sometimes 8, because they all throw an inning. But the thunder that they throw out there is pretty impressive. I don't think there's any question about that. Jackson Holliday's played in the game. I was not there part of that one. But when you think about Orioles, Kobe Mayo was in that game as well. So it's a big list. It's some heavy hitters that come through, and we're doing it in Baltimore and Camden Yards.
So cool.
So if you're a baseball fan and you want to come out and see a glimpse of the future, like I said, you might not see them the very next year after they get drafted, but these are all kids that finished their junior year, so they haven't even stepped foot into their high school for their senior year yet. And it's a pretty impressive crowd.
Saturday, September 13th at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and tickets are just $10. And this is always the thing that I think for sports fans is very cool. You get to be the one that gets to say to your friends, oh, yeah, I got to see Gunnar Henderson or Jackson Holliday or Bobby Witt Jr. before you ever knew who he was, which is always a bragging right thing among sports fans. We're going to link up on our Twitter account, @GlennClarkRadio, where you can go to get tickets for the UA Next All-America game. And Bill, it's not just there's I know Sean Casey's going to be a part of it, and Mark DeRosa, right, are going to be the managers?
Yes. I decided to take a break from the dugout routine. I'm not sure, and I apologize for that if I don't have a broadcast announcer or a broadcast partner in mind of yet, because I'm just kind of brain cramping because I'm old. But I'll be up in the booth calling in the game. But in years past, I went toe-to-toe with Sean Casey a few times. He was in the other dugout opposite me. Larry Boa was in the other dugout. Wes Helms was in the other dugout. And this year, Mark DeRosa wants to jump in, and Sean Casey's going to be back. So that's going to be great to have those guys there. These kids are going to come in on Friday, probably get a little tour of the Under Armour facility, have a banquet affair, and get some words from Casey and DeRosa for sure. I'm not sure if I'm in on Friday night or not, but it may be me as well. But these dudes are into it. and DeRosa being the skipper for our United States team again this go-round with the WBC. He's got a 15-year-old son that's playing out of the Atlanta area. So D-Rose well in tune with the youth. Sean Casey's kid went to Kent State. I apologize for not following the MLB draft all the way through, but I think he's a draftable commodity as well. So Casey and D-Row are living, kind of this youth baseball world right now, and they jumped at the opportunity to be in the dugouts going head-to-head with each other with the 36 best seniors to be coming up.
That's awesome. Again, it is September 13th at Camden Yards, the UA Next All-America game, and tickets are just $10. Love that it's here. Would like to make this maybe like a permanent thing or a semi-permanent thing anyway. That would be awesome if that could happen moving forward. We're chatting with Bill Ripken here on GCR. Bill, I'd love to talk some baseball with you because I was just talking a second ago. I am not, like, the All-Star game is not my thing, and it hasn't been since I was a young man. But I'm actually very excited about tuning in tonight because of ABS, because I want to see this in action. And it's funny because I keep talking to players about it, and overwhelmingly the players I talk to about it are not enamored with the idea of automated balls and strikes. They like the relationships they have and knowing what an umpire strike zone is and trying to manipulate it. I've gotten the sense the challenge system is one they're in favor of, but where are you with the debate between ABS, the challenge system, and the human element of baseball?
Yeah, I'm not on board with the automated zone. In fact, I get so annoyed at that box that sits up there if you watch a game, and if you hit it or not, they take this for gospel. In this technology savvy world we live in, I still don't think, and you can't prove to me that you can slap a strike zone up there on the board that's going to match Jose Altuve hitting in front of Aaron Judge and have that thing work. It's just not there. I'm not going to be one of the guys that say I like the relationship with the umpire type thing and everything else that goes with it. I like the fact that there are umpires in the big leagues that do a extremely good job at calling ball strikes, and guess what? We don't know their names. And that's the way I kind of like that, because they do their job and they're never in the YouTube blooper reels for calling something 7.5 inches outside. We know those guys' names, but I'm a firm believer, and I still think there's enough people that could call balls and strikes right, and I would just assume have them ball strikes umpires. They never do first, third base. They might take an off day and go to second. And while they're out at second, they should be honing in on their craft and watching the guy behind home plate, which is also a qualified ball strike umpire. And he's kind of critiquing what goes on from second base. If he happens to miss a call on a stolen base attempt, who cares? Because we can go to replay and get that
fixed. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. But I think there's enough people that could call legitimate ball strikes in a big league game, have a really good percentage, and I think the game flow would be just fine. But let's find those guys, and let's pay them more money, and then put the guys that we know their names at first and third base, and they never put on the chest protector to go behind home plate and call balls and strikes.
Interesting.
And they don't get paid as much as the good guys do that call balls and strikes. Football has a referee, right? They have side judge, back judge, this judge, that judge, but they have a referee. Why can't baseball have a ball strike umpire, and he does that more times than not, gets paid more, and he does a good job for the sport of baseball?
So in that way, it sounds like you don't even love the idea of like the challenge system just because of the technology that's involved.
You know what? That one I could be up for debate for.
Okay.
But once again, slapping the Jose Altuve and Aaron Judge comparison back to back, I don't know how you're going to challenge a high pitch. Just because of that box that they put up on the screen, we treat it like gospel because somebody just created it and threw it up there on the screen. I just assume expand the picture on the screen and get the box out of the way, even if it blurs my pixels a bit. That box gets on my nerves, to tell you the truth, when I watch a game.
I know exactly. I think this is where, like, for you as someone who knows the game better than everybody, I feel like it's something that we do to try to reach out to people that aren't baseball fans and say, here's how you know what the pitch is supposed to be called. And
Correct.
I do think it's a fine line for baseball, right? Because they want more baseball fans, and they're trying to show the rules. But yes, to your point, we treat it as Bible when it's not necessarily Bible.
Yes, and I think we do that with quite a few things now in the way we present the game of baseball. Things that have entered into the game and the conversation that we're treating as gospel.
I remember you literally wrote a book about this topic, and I remember thinking that it was quite compelling, the book that you wrote about this topic.
And the idea of, a lot of people take weighted runs created plus as gospel. And I look at weighted runs created plus as three words: weighted, created, and plus have nothing to do with the actual run. And the run is the only real thing in it. So out of those four letters, the run, yes, it crosses home plate, 25% of the weighted runs created plus is actually real. And we throw it up on the screen like it's gospel on what this guy can do. It doesn't necessarily add up to me, because I still think you drive in runs when you're a hitter, you score runs when you're on the bases, you get people out when you're a pitcher. We present the game extremely different right now. I don't think the game itself is different. Yes, there's a pitch clock. Yes, we put card tables out there on the field and look like bases. Yes, we said the pitcher can't throw over, more than twice. But the idea of the game of baseball is still a very simple one. If you hit it, pitch it, catch it better than the other team, you pretty much win.
I understand, and unfortunately the Orioles have not been doing that much this season, Bill. I want to transition because they're in the market for a manager. We believe it does not seem as though interim manager Tony Mansolino is going to be the long-term guy. I think a lot of people around here have shared an opinion that the next manager of the Orioles needs to be someone with a little more cachet, someone who has done it before, someone who will command respect on day one. Is that something that's important to you? Does that part of it matter the way that dummies like me suggest that it matters? Or maybe I just fell in love with the culture change that Buck Showalter presented in Baltimore over a decade ago? Or is that something that this team uniquely might need given where they are in the process with these players?
I would probably lean with you on that there needs to be something in the mix along those lines. But here's the deal. When you think about what has gone on in the game, where we are with some of these kids that came up through the minor leagues, this is, they might not be used to somebody that's been there or done it.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of cases, I think that's factual. So they're just going as it is. There's still something to be said for a guy. If you think about Earl Weaver, Jim Leland, Buck Showalter, I think they're all very similar type managers. They all played in the minor leagues. They all realized how hard the game was.
Mm-hmm.
They put in their time. All the above, all the old school cliches you could put together, and they can have conversations because they've seen about everything. And that to me is where we're lacking a little bit in the overall game, industry-wide, is I'm not so sure the conversations that are happening in AA with a guy that might not have ever played at AA is having with somebody that's in AA about struggles. And I think we're lacking something in the overall scheme of things as far as the play is concerned. There is no questioning the ability and the talent of some kids that are coming up into the big leagues. But I do have questions when I watch the game nightly, league-wide. Why does the second baseman not go to first base when there's a man on second and a base hit to center fielder and the first baseman goes to the cutoff position? There seems to be some standing and spectating that goes on that I don't think the overall play is as crisp as it once was, because there was a position and a place for everybody to be on the field once the ball's put in play. And I can watch nightly, team over team over team, have people standing in wrong locations, going in different locations, or just flat out standing in the same spot they were when the ball was hit when the play is developed. And I'm not so sure how that's covered while these kids are coming up through the minor leagues. So when they get to the big league, they automatically know where to go.
That's an interesting thought, right? Somebody would say, isn't that something that anybody could, you don't have to have been a manager before to be able to teach that, right? And that's probably true.
No, but you have to have been a guy that's been there and done it.
Yeah.
And actually have heard it one time, or you just kind of let it slip through the cracks.
Well, and I also wonder, to your point, like, this is a group of guys that have, experienced a lot of success. Like, do they need it to be from someone, that has are they more inclined to hear it if the voice is someone who has experienced success before? If you've come through this and, and I'm not trying to call out anybody individually in this process, but if you've gone through this and you've never really been challenged before because you're so talented, and like, does it need to be, and I keep using Buck Showalter just because it's a frame of reference, but like, does that need to be that type of person for you to be willing to listen to it at this point in your life?
I think that the fact that the talent, and you're not singling out anybody, because I'm going 30 teams. I'm going
not just the Orioles, right?
Where this goes, where somebody comes up, and if you look at minor league setups and you look at major league setups, they have a coach for everything. I've yet to see here's my stick my foot on your backside coach, because when they do come into the dugout at any level, and something had gone wrong, you just say, okay, on that play, this has to happen. I'd like not to come back over here again on a similar play. And the second time you go over there on the similar play and you put your foot on the backside and say, dude, this can't happen. One, if you're in the minor leagues and you go up to the next level, or you get to the big leagues and you make that mistake at the big league level, if I'm the big league manager, I'm looking down at where he came from and going, why is he going here on this play and not where he's supposed to? Because I think that's the time that you move on from somebody, because you're not establishing this parameter that this is how we're going to do things in this organization up there. So if that's never told to these guys, and I'm pretty sure that you could probably talk to a few guys in the big leagues now, tell them something fairly fundamental as far as something is concerned, and have them say, man, I never heard that before. Well, you should have heard it 450 times. You should have heard it 150 times in A-ball, 150 times in Double-A, and 150 times in Triple-A before you get here. But if you're hearing it for the first time here, we're lacking somewhere.
It's a very fascinating conversation, Bill. It's a really interesting look at where we are in baseball at this point. Is there I think that a lot of us believe that it's fait accompli, that at this point you're too deep in the season. What would you say to an Orioles fan that says, is there any reason to still have hope or optimism about how this year can go?
I think when you're talking about the Orioles, you can have optimism, because there is some talent, unquestionable, talent. I like the fact that when they do win a few games in a row, Jackson moved up leadoff spot, played second every day. Gunnar Henderson was playing short, hitting third every day. You have things to be excited about. Look, when you went down with some injuries, and look, every team deals with that. I get it. But this one seemed to smack the Orioles around a little bit. When you're without your, number one prospect out there on the mound, you're missing some things. When Eflin was throwing the ball okay and he went sideline with the shoulder, you're missing some things. So when you're a little bit light as far as the depth maybe is concerned, you can't live with that. Gunnar Henderson to start the year on the list, and then when he comes back, you can't expect him to be good, because he's got about 2 weeks of spring training time to go on, and he's not facing spring training pitchers anymore. He's facing pitchers that are already amped up and ready to go. That's a big loss when you're seeing that. So who knows, if he'd have been right coming out opening day, had his spring training time in and does the things that he can do, maybe that just makes everybody relax and settle in. But there was a lot of pressing I think I saw going on early. You mentioned it before about, all these young kids in the big leagues now have had nothing but success.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do struggle a little bit in the win-loss column and your personal columns, maybe you do press a little bit more. And that's when I think you need the voice or the aid of qualified people to come next to you on the bench and say, look, dude, it's going to be all right. We're going to get up tomorrow morning. The sun's going to come up. We got to get to the yard, keep grinding. We got to keep doing our things. I'm not saying they didn't have that, but it seems like when you press for the first time and struggle for the first time at the big league level, that's hard.
Yeah, I think it's well said. Very, very well said. I remind everybody that the UA Next All-America game is September 13th at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And I also know, Bill, two things real quick. It's in partnership with the Baseball Factory. Can you tell us a little bit about the Baseball Factory and also how the game is going to benefit the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation?
Well, we're in the middle of all this because when you want to be involved with something nice and they're willing to give aid. Look, we've been doing this years past in the Chicago area. I know the foundation would come out and we'd have a day. I don't know if that's on the schedule for these kids or not this year, and my apologies for that. But we would take these kids, meaning the players, the 36 kids, and we'd take them to a site. I remember the last one we did was at Northwestern University in Chicago, and we bring a few kids in from the Boys and Girls Clubs from around the surrounding area, and we have clinic day. And, you know, that's pretty cool when you're seeing Bobby Witt Jr. I actually saw him 2 years in a row, actually. He came after his sophomore year, and he came after his junior year. But you look at this kid out there on a field like Northwestern, pretty nice, you know, turf field, got good background, good scene in Chicago, and you got him out there at the infield station rolling ground balls to kids and showing them a few pointers that he knows and what he's doing. So when you have the involvement of the foundation and we can be a part of the community type events such as those, it's huge for these kids. And now I'm talking about the kids like, say, the Boys and Girls Club and things like that. But it's a nice marriage when these kids come in and get to be a part of a community type effort where it kind of sets them in the right, I guess, direction, if you will, to begin their journey into pro ball. But make no mistake about it, September 13th rolls around in Camden Yards. There's going to be, just spitballing here, but there's going to be 5 first-round picks, you know, in the upcoming draft of the following year. You'll see guys that are in the big leagues within 3 years, and hopefully during that time we can produce something like we have in the past with Bobby Witt and Gunnar Henderson. When you see two of the very best shortstops that are in the game, you know, I turned around and saw them in my dugout first, and that's a pretty cool thing to sit there and go, man, these dudes, because that's the other thing. People come to this game and you watch these kids that finished their junior year, right? Haven't been a senior yet. They're playing in a big league venue like Camden Yards, which is probably still in my opinion, the biggest league venue there is in baseball. You'll watch a game. Yes, you'll see some mistakes that high school kids do. Yes, they'll look a little bit more baby-faced than what you're watching on TV. But you're going to see kids out there play a game in a big league venue that look the part. And that blows me away probably as much as anything is when you see these kids come in 16, 17 years old, and they're playing a game in a big league venue, and it doesn't overwhelm them. And they look every bit like they belong out there on that field while they're playing.
I'm also now wondering, as I think about it, whether or not maybe Mark DeRosa looks around in the dugout and he gets a little comfortable and says, hey, maybe this is the spot. Because I'm thinking about guys that would fit the bill. I know, again, he doesn't have big league managing experience, but you point out Team USA. I wonder if he might not be that type of guy that would be a good fit for this job.
He very well could be that type of guy. I'm not so sure that he's in the stage where he is. Like when you talk to him and he's got a 15-year-old that's playing, I think he's pretty happy being around at 15 and then 16 and then 17. Maybe if it was a little bit later, that would kind of happen. But, you know, the other funny thing about it is we talk about them two being managers. It's very much the idea of these kids showcase themselves. I don't think D-Row's going to put on a hit and run. I don't think D-Row's going to put on a sack bunt. I certainly hope he doesn't. Not when you're in a venue
yeah, right.
like this with these kids.
Let him hit. Yeah.
But the idea is when it's 3-0, you better be swinging because that might be the best pitch you get all day. So it doesn't necessarily matter game score or anything else. Make no mistake about it. Case and D-Row going at it head-to-head, like in conversation, like they both of them want to win. But this one's pretty much going to be resolved with which kid goes out there and throws some strikes, which kid pops one maybe and hit the dinger at the right time. It might not have a whole lot to do with Casey or DeRosa.
Bill, I know I kept you long. I always appreciate you. Thank you for spending time with us.
Good, dude.
Let's chat again before the game, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bill Ripken
right,
with us here on GCR. I always appreciate him taking the time for us. I'm not surprised that Bill's not an ABS guy. I did read Bill's book a couple years ago. I did think it was a fascinating. Like a lot of people believe that it was like a curmudgeon-y, shake his fist at the idea of analytics and advanced statistics, and it wasn't. It was, I think we need to do a better job of marrying data to what we know about baseball. And I can accept some of these things, but we need to find a better way. And so I'm not dismissive of it. I actually really enjoyed reading Bill's book a couple years back. I acknowledge what he's saying, that a box isn't a box. We're making a box for television, but it's not a definitive box based on the way the letter of the law is written for the strike zone. To his point, Jose Altuve is a very different size than Aaron Judge. Their box can't be the same size if you're judging it by what we have written in baseball as being the actual strike zone. He's right about that. But where does that meet the need to improve the quality of the television program? And that's what I always come back to. Does that need to change so that the average person can be more in tune with the game that they're watching? I say it all the time. Tennis is never going to change their scoring system. Everybody knows I'm a tennis person. It's never going to happen. But trying to get someone into tennis immediately begins with an obstacle. What the hell is 40 love? What does that mean? You immediately present an obstacle from the moment you're introducing someone to the sport. Because the scoring system makes no effing sense. And tennis isn't going to change. It's not going to change. We're not going to wake up tomorrow and they're going to say, we play a set of rounds that are first to 4, win by 2. Which if you said it that way, people would understand a little bit easier. It's a round. First to 4, win by 2. Once you get through that round, you get a point. First to 6 points, win by 2, wins the... You came up with another term for it. Wins the inning. First to win 2 innings. Wins the game, right? Like if we said it that way, then people might understand it a little bit more and not be so daunted by it, but they're daunted by it immediately. This isn't about tennis, it's about baseball. In baseball, they want more people to watch. So if you put a box on the screen and they can understand if it's in the box, it's a strike. If it's not in the box, it's a ball. Then you're more inclined to get someone that doesn't otherwise baseball to watch the sport because it's easier to understand. When you don't put the box up and each pitch looks about the same, it's really difficult to understand why something's called a ball and something's called a strike, and it makes it tough. So I know what Bill's saying, but I think for the health of baseball, the box kind of does need to be the box. Now, is that fair to the hitter? The hitter would say, I don't know where the box is. It's not on my screen. I'm guessing. These are all complicated conversations, bro. Do it like in wiffle ball. You put a chair behind, and if it hits the chair. Played a lot of wiffle ball last week. I got wiffle ball in the mind. We come back in. We're going to go over our 3 up and 3 down for the entirety of the Orioles' first half. And then we're going to chat with Aaron Wiggins. So that's coming up as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low-test Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Calling all athletes and families, don't miss Football versus Football, a free sports and wellness festival Saturday, July 19th from 10 to 6 at Baltimore Peninsula. Meet retired Ravens, other former NFL stars, and pro soccer players. Join youth sports clinics, get free health screenings, and enjoy food, music, and family fun. Powered by United Healthcare, presented by Sports Legacy Group, and supported by University of Maryland Orthopedics and 1-800-GAMBLER.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantopoulos family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. And normally you only hear this music on Mondays, but we're going to do something a little bit different today as we are at the All-Star break and the first half of the season is in the books, and we're going to do it again.
Three up.
And 3 down.
It's time for our first half of the season version of 3 Up and 3 Down. It's brought to you by County Sports Zone, which is still pumping out content all summer long, despite the fact that obviously there are no high school sporting events going on right now. But they've still got you covered. News, previews. Football season is just a few weeks away. And they're getting you ready for it over at countysports.zone, which is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. So, for the entirety of the first half, 3 up and 3 down. Griffin has been keeping a running tally of the point system for who's made our 3 up, 3 down each week. But what happens there is that, like, hey, in a certain week, someone might have been good, but there were a lot of guys that were good, so they didn't get a point. So this is our way to catch up and say who we think is most deserving, who should be the top 3 on the up list, and who should be the top 3 on the down list for 3 up and 3 down. Let's begin on the down side. And Grant, I struggled with this because obviously there's lots and lots and lots of candidates.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
I ended up a lot of who's on these lists has a lot to do with expectations.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what my expectations were for number 3 coming into the year. But based on how he started the year, my expectations were, oh man, the Orioles really found something here. And then after the month of June came around, not at all. Tomo Sagano is number 3 on my down list. And it's a tough one.
Yeah, you hate to see him there.
Because I don't know exactly what I thought Tomo Sagano was going to be before the year began. Like, it was such a crapshoot. But he built up a place where I had expectations for Tomo Sagano. And he hasn't been able to live up to that. Now, his last start against the Mets was better after some early struggles. Sagano sits with a 4.4 ERA and a 1.30 whip. It's not disastrous. It's not good enough. And it was at the beginning of June that he was sitting at a 3 ERA. And so maybe there's some recency bias in him making the list over some other guys. But, he's ballooned from a 3.0 ERA to a 4.4 ERA in the span of a little more than a month. And particularly as the Orioles have needed starting pitching, what I was hoping Tomo Sagano was, it's not been what he has been. And hopefully that changes. I don't know if it's going to be able to change in time for them to really get any value for him at the deadline. That's the bummer. The bummer is that given how he was pitching in the beginning of June, you were starting to think that, hey, if the Orioles are sellers at the deadline, they could really be getting something for Sagano. This looks more like you're just selling him for the sake of selling him, which you're probably still going to do. But yeah, it's a bummer. Tomo Sagano, number 3 on my list.
My list starts with Heston Kjerstad at number 3.
Yeah, I get it, man.
You have an everyday opportunity you've been seeking, and you put up a 195 or a 192. You're back at AAA. Your injuries, okay, but you're still not hitting there. So the disappointment there, number 2 overall pick, again, finally playing every day. He didn't do anything with it, and when we needed him to.
I can't argue with Heston Kjerstad at all. I think it's a very solid choice. You're bummed for him.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But, yeah, it would be nice if Heston Kjerstad could be the middle of the order bat that we've all wanted him to be, and he just hasn't done that when he's had his opportunity. So I got no issue at all with Heston Kjerstad being on your list. Griffin's number 3 was Charlie Morton. And it's a little surprising. Yeah, I think that's where we are, is just he's been good enough of late to forget how disastrously bad it was. But to the point, I put Tomo Sagano on the list with a 4.4 ERA and a 1.3 whip. Charlie Morton has a 5.18 ERA and 1.52 whip. So if you weren't only looking, again, I have to acknowledge my recency bias here. Who's had a worse first half overall? The numbers would clearly indicate Charlie Morton has had an overall worse first half. But the trend has been good for Charlie Morton and not good for Tomo Sagano, which is almost certainly why Tomo Sagano makes my list and not Charlie Morton. But as much as I would love to beat up Griffin, there's nothing that gives me more joy. I can't do it. He's absolutely right. It's a fair choice. My number 2 is Zach Eflin. And
I agree.
This is where, expectation, it's not just the expectation that's the problem. The 5.95 ERA is untenable no matter what the circumstances are.
And then hitters are hitting 300 against him.
Yes. Over 300 against him.
Well above.
It's been an unmitigated disaster, and you want to believe that it's related. He's had 2 different injuries that he's dealt with this season. You want to believe that it's had something to do with that, but it's kind of not relevant to the subject. The subject is who's been down. Zach Eflin's been down bad. Zach Eflin is number 2 on my list.
Should have thought of that one. For me, it was Adley Rutschman. This was supposed to be the year. You saw he tailed off second half of last year. We're sitting there wondering what happened. Was he hurt? There's no injury excuse until the oblique. There really was no injury excuse. Swinging out of his shoes, just not making the adjustments. Just a rough year so far for Adley, but it was supposed to be the breakout year. We thought we saw it on opening day. Heated up a little bit there on the West Coast. Seattle was that breakout series he had. Who knows? Maybe he's still heating up if he's not on the IL right now. But you're looking at a guy who's hitting under 230 if he's barely hanging on with a 7 OPS. This was supposed to be the breakout year, the adjustment year. I haven't seen it yet, and just not a good look. So he's number 2.
He's number 2 on Griffin's list as well, and he's number 1 on my list. And that is about expectation, right? That is about how badly his struggles are hurting this organization.
Because he was supposed to be was supposed to be
as
the
I've said
guy.
before, when we go back to the second half of last year, the Orioles can't get to where they want to go with this version of Adley Rutschman.
No, not at all.
He's too central to what they've built here for him to be. And it's not just like, remember how disappointed we all were with Matt Wieters, and I always freak out about that because, hey, Matt Wieters was a good baseball player. We just wanted him to be a great baseball player. But this isn't even a good baseball player.
No.
This is a pedestrian baseball player. I don't even know that he's a pedestrian. I would say he's on the wrong side of pedestrian. And yeah, are there guys who are maybe could somebody say, well, yeah, but he's been more helpful than Heston Kjerstad's been, right? But he has to work. Adley Rutschman has to work for the Orioles to work. And so to me, it remains the single biggest issue that surrounds this organization right now is the downfall of Adley Rutschman. And you pray that he comes back and he reminds you that he's still Adley Rutschman.
With also 3 years of control left.
Yep. But, man, is it – well, this is one of those 3 years. So it would be 2 years of control after this year, right?
2028 is free agent year.
2020. Is this free agent?
Yeah. That's what I got here.
I want to make sure that's correct. I just want to make sure that we have that. But, yeah, Adley Rutschman to me is an easy number 1. Who's number 1 on your lists?
Well, he was number 1 on my list yesterday. He's a number 1 on my list for the first half is Tyler O'Neill. I hate to say it. I mean, $49 million for...
Yeah, it's 2 years after this year. 2020, he goes into free agency after the 2027 season.
Okay.
So he's under control next year and 2027, and then he's a free agent following the 2027 season.
So there is not a lot of time.
Nope. The clock is very much running. Anyway, I'll tell you, Griffin had Tyler O'Neill number 1 on his list as well. I'm probably giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt by, the injury being the reason why he's not on my list whatsoever. But in hindsight, yeah.
$49 million for...
I get the issue.
5 OPS, and there's a play I saw earlier this year. Some of the defensive things he's done. A ball, one of them being a ball that was hung up long enough, let it fall in front of him. I think there were a couple of throwing decisions early on that he made where we're scratching our heads. So, yeah, he's number 1 for me. I definitely get your stance on the Adley Rutschman thing though. Both sides.
In hindsight, should I put Tyler O'Neill on the list and not put Tomo Sagano on the list? Probably.
But your Rutschman stance is very valid. Though.
Yeah, I'll stand by the Rutschman one. I think Rutschman should be number 1 on the list, but I definitely, listening to you guys, I probably should have put Tyler on. I probably am being too forgiving based on injury, and we've seen enough of Tyler O'Neill. He's played 30 games. We've seen enough of him for me to be able to make a statement and not just defend him. I'm not even defending him, but not just use the injury as the reason why he doesn't make the list. So you're probably right about that.
At least he did the opening day thing.
There was that.
Okay.
We'll always have that.
Sure.
As far as the up list is concerned, my number 3, and this one's tough because I to me, number 1 and number 2 were easy on the up list. It's funny because Griffin has someone number 1 on his up list that isn't on my list, but someone I thought about.
Oh, great.
I just don't think his impact has been significant enough for me to really go there. I ultimately went with Trevor Rogers as my number 3. And it's tough because someone would say Dean Kramer is overall more deserving of being on the list than Trevor Rogers is. But there have been just enough stinkers from Dean Kramer that weighed out for me. This is the Jacob Mizorowski argument, right? Like, has he pitched enough to really warrant this? He's been such a revelation with expectations being so low that he's on my list. Trevor Rogers is number 3, who's been obviously outstanding since returning to the major leagues.
That's a match there. I got him on number 3 too. I mean, a whip 2 points under 1, and he's consistently given the Orioles chances to win or claw back their way back in with every start. I think the only one he kind of didn't give away was the one at Tampa. We blew that 8-run lead. That's not all on him. Every start he's been out there, he's given us a chance, holding the opponents to 1 run, no runs, 2 runs, getting deep into games. Trevor Rogers is my number 3, even though he's only had 6 starts.
It means that I had to leave Griffin's number 3 off my list entirely, and he was the one that I felt the worst about, which is Ramon Laureano, who
Dagnabbit, yeah.
is such a fun baseball player, and you just enjoy watching him play. He's not great, but he's fun, and you appreciate it, and
he knows ball.
Yep.
He's been there, done that.
I like Ramon Laureano, just didn't quite make the list. Ramon Laureano is Griffin's number 3. My number 2 is one that I thought about for both lists. As I said when I posted this, I would be okay with somebody having the same player on both lists. There's an argument that this guy has been disappointing to the point that he could have been on the down list. But he's also the player that leads the team in WAR. And I need to be fair that Gunnar Henderson is still the best player on this baseball team. And it's a tough conversation because in expectation world, you want Gunnar Henderson to be an AL MVP candidate, and he ain't that. But Gunnar Henderson is, without question, still this team's best player. And while he has been disappointing, and the power has certainly not been where you want it to be, I can't ignore the fact that when it all comes out in the wash, Gunnar Henderson is still the guy who's the guy that you want up. You got one at bat, the game on the line. Who's the guy on this team that you want up? It's still Gunnar Henderson. And he is still OPSing over 800. And he's still productive. You want him to be better than he is because you believe he is better than he is. But I can't pretend like he isn't still their best player. He is. Gunnar Henderson is number 2 on my list.
For me, that's a dang good argument, Glenn. For me, I gave it to Jackson Holliday. We all know what happened last year, and he's had streaky at times, but he's had some really hot moments as well. Overall, everything I think is starting to come together for him. His swing, his load looks a lot better. He's hustling. He's playing like a Holiday, just like a Holiday, just like Matt was, just like I'm sure Ethan will, and whoever else is in that family, because that's probably gonna go
There's
on
more.
for
There are
years.
more coming.
Oh yeah, Jackson Holliday is my number 2. Just kind of it is out of just I'm happy for him, but kind of a lot of it too is just I see the Oriole way in Jackson Holliday, which is what a lot more guys on this team.
He's definitely getting there. He's definitely getting there. There's no question about that. He's not fully there yet, but he's definitely getting there.
It's tough. It's tough to do that at 21.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
What were we doing when we were 21?
We got to move a little bit quicker just because we have a guest coming up here in a second. But Griffin's number 2 is Ryan O'Hearn, and I'll tell you that my number 1 is Ryan O'Hearn.
Mine too. Yeah.
And it's not just because he's an all-star. There's a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge there, and like, hey, if Rafael Devers doesn't get traded, he's not the starter, and I don't know if he's the all-star or if they put Gunnar Henderson on the team. I don't know what the choice would be, but he gets the nod. The truth is, he's OPSing 840. He has been their most consistent offensive player. He's had a little bit of a dip in June, but still for the whole of the first half, he's been their most consistent offensive player. Ryan O'Hearn is my number one.
Match there, too. Number one for me.
He was Griffin's number two because Griffin has Felix Bautista number one on his list, which is a wild choice. Not because I think Felix Bautista has been bad. I certainly don't think that's the case. I just don't know that he's been dominant. Now, as Griffin points out, what still stands out is 48 strikeouts in 33 innings. Like, his strikeout rate is Felix Bautista-ish. And that is for sure. It feels a bit more adventurous than I remember it being, but it was probably a bit more adventurous than we remember it being 2 years ago. He just got all the results, and they were big games, and they were constantly winning, so we had all the emotional feelings towards it. I can listen to an argument for Felix Bautista on the up list. I think one is extreme. I think it's kind of nuts, but I certainly am not down on Felix Bautista. I think he has looked a lot like Felix Bautista, and again, it would be very interesting to see if there's a team that would overwhelm the Orioles with a Felix Bautista offer going to the deadline, if they would think about it despite the fact that he's under team control, because it might be where you can get the most value. We will get it up at GlennClarkRadio.com here in a little bit, our 3 up and 3 down for the first half of the season. As I mentioned earlier, we had to do this yesterday, but it was a great opportunity to catch up with a man who is now an NBA champion. Aaron Wiggins, Maryland legend, with us right here on Glenn Clark Radio. Well, it's a real pleasure to be joined here on GCR by this man who we've had a few opportunities over the years to chat with, but it's the first time that we get to say we welcome in NBA champion and Maryland legend Aaron Wiggins back with us now here on GCR. Aaron, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you, man. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm happy to, be able to join the show again, and obviously super excited coming off a NBA championship. So I appreciate the congratulations.
Dude, have your feet even returned to earth at any point over the course of the last couple of weeks? Have you even had a moment where it's been oh my God, this is real?
Man, I'm just on an all-time high. Yeah. There's just no feeling and no way to really describe the constant just energy that, kind of repeats itself every single day. So no, I can't tell you that, I've been able to just step back on earth yet and come back to, life, but it's an awesome feeling, man, and I'm going to enjoy it. So.
Nah, dude, I can only imagine, right? Let me go back a second, because I know it had to be difficult, and maybe you'll tell me it wasn't because of how good the team was. But when you get into the NBA, you prove everybody wrong. You prove that you should have gone earlier in the draft. We see why it is the Thunder wanted you there. They give you this big contract. And then your role ends up being kind of minimized a bit, and you don't have the consistent minutes. How did you handle all of that to not let that get to you and to be ready when your name was called to deliver time and time again big performances throughout the course of the playoffs?
Yeah, man, I think so much of it was just kind of understanding that the NBA is a super competitive, league, and there are a lot of times where, maybe your role gets minimized, maybe, you see more opportunity, but the people who kind of find ways to last and to stay in the NBA, the guys who find success are the ones who are able to kind of withstand, whatever ups and downs they kind of go through. So even, the highest of highs where you might be playing your best and you're getting, 25, 30 minutes a night, not being able to control and keep yourself from getting too high in those moments, and just kind of being able to have a balance so that also when the lows exist, you're not too low. You're also, ready for, whatever opportunity presents itself later on. Just being able to kind of understand that and have that mindset allowed me to kind of stay grounded and, trust that my work is going to get its opportunity to show.
Aaron, is that easy, or does that take phone calls? Do you have to reach out to somebody and say, I don't get this? Was it natural for you to understand the process, if you will, when all of that started?
I mean, I would say that there's definitely a natural sense of, being able to understand it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm human. Like a lot of like everyone has emotions, and a lot of people sometimes take those emotions out in, the wrong scenarios and in the wrong environment. So it definitely takes phone calls, and it takes, conversations with, our head coach, people in the front office, just to kind of, remind yourself and give yourself that comfort that, things are still going to be okay, regardless of what it looks like in the moment. And I give credit to our front office and my head coach, because they're always direct. They're always, just kind of giving you an idea of, maybe what it is they have going on or what they're looking at. And that also gives me, just a certain sense of, trust to be able to stick with, them when they're looking at something, or maybe it's myself and the work that I'm putting in.
So how much more sweeter is it then when you have a night like Game 2 or like Game 5, like where you just have a night where you remind everybody, like, oh, by the way, and me too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes it, all the much more just kind of like sweeter, I guess you could say, when you have those type of nights, especially you're talking about, like, there's regular season games where I could have really good games where, my minutes beforehand might not have been, great, but then I have a good regular season game. But we're talking about the NBA Finals and, like, where we won the championship. And, there were two really big games where I think my contribution, contributed in a big way to, uplift our team and give us wins. So, I mean, it just makes it that much more sweeter because there are highs and lows that everybody goes through. But to be able to withstand that and then have those moments just speaks volumes to, the work and just the willingness to, stand tall through the rough moments.
He is Aaron Wiggins. He's with us here on GCR, NBA champion with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Aaron, what is it about this group, right? Like, I think from the outside, a lot of us have been really enamored with watching your group of guys come together and like the post-game interview thing. It seems like such a silly thing, but like it gives a lot of people a lot of joy to see that relationship that you all share and how special it is. Where did that come from? How were you all able to bond this way and sort of grow together the way that you have?
Man, so much of it is just the kind of natural personality and the characteristics that each kind of individual that comes into our organization brings to the table. Our organization does a good job of just creating an environment where everybody can kind of be welcomed and feel like they can be themselves, and that allows for each individual to put forth, their best effort and come to work every day with a positive attitude and just an outlook of, knowing that they're going to be in a comfortable environment and a situation where, they could be themselves and still get the best work out of it. And it allows for, I think, what you've seen in the last couple of years, which is just, a fun environment, an entertaining environment, and one where, guys are still kind of, obviously focused on what it takes to succeed. And when it all comes together, we have a run like we did this season.
And obviously that goes a long way into being maybe more understanding of where your role is. Is like, boy, you're a part of something special, whatever that role is. Yeah,
certainly. I mean, it just obviously just goes to, like I said, the togetherness that exists within our team. It's something special, and it's something that when you get a certain taste of it and a feel for it, you're understanding that, this isn't something that you're going to see often, and you want to be a part of it.
No, it's really special, man. When did you know it would be championship special? Like, was there a moment for you, or did it take until, like, you guys actually felt the confetti, right? Like, was there a moment for you that it struck you like, dude, this isn't just fun. We're going to win championships, this group of players?
I can't say that there was a moment where I specifically said we're going to win championships. But there was a time, I want to say maybe my second year, where we were in the play-in. And it was our first, like, as a young group together, it was our first postseason run. and we had a really good game and response against the Pelicans, I think, and we ended up winning that game. And then the next game, we ended up losing to Minnesota. But the way that we handled, our first postseason run together as a team against the Pelicans, and we were able to kind of grit out a win on the road against, a good Pelicans team, it just kind of gave a certain sense of, like, the more we get to kind of taste this postseason run and see what it's like, the better we'll get. And then, obviously, the next season, I think we lost to Dallas in the second round. And that kind of gave us a little more experience and a little more fuel to kind of, learn and see, what we could be better, going into, the postseason. And then this year we were able to kind of put it together. And I think there were still experiences where we went to Game 7 against Denver. And that was one where, our competitiveness and, our togetherness was kind of tested. And we were able to come out of that alive. And then when we saw Game 7 again in Indiana, like I said, our competitiveness, our togetherness was kind of tested again. And to come out on top of that and win a ring, it just kind of shows what we're capable of. So I think there's experiences that continue to just kind of grow within our team, and it strengthens our togetherness.
What are the best perks that come with being the savior of basketball, Aaron?
Oh, man, just I don't know how to word it, dude. Just the constant support and the fans who are just kind of like always backing me, and that energy it's one of a kind. It's one that I never thought would be behind me, but I love it. I love it.
Were you when you first saw it, when people brought it to your attention, were you at all afraid of, like, dude, I don't know that I want people to call me like I don't want to know that I want people to say Aaron Wiggins saved basketball. When did you embrace that as not being something you needed to run away from?
I mean, the first time I saw it was when I was at the University of Maryland my sophomore year, maybe my freshman year. But there was never like a sense of I don't want that kind of name, or I don't want that pressure. It's always been just kind of fun. And something that I thought would be, if it stuck, it would stick the right way, and it'd be something that we'd enjoy. And if it didn't, then it'd be okay.
Right.
But there was never any feeling of not wanting that name to stick, or there being pressure with it.
Dude, it's so cool to see how that fan base just like loves you. And I wondered if that was what came out. So much was made about your speech at the parade, and dude, it was the coolest thing ever. Like, it was just awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not stunned. Like, we've talked to you since you were in high school. Was the first time I had a conversation with you, and we've always known that you were happy to be able to talk. But like, was that what came out in that moment? Was just like what you were giving back from what that fan base had given to you since you arrived there?
I mean, certainly. I mean, the fans' energy in that moment was just kind of through the roof, and knowing kind of what the state of Oklahoma behind this, organization has had, and the things that they've kind of went through in their existence in Oklahoma, you can see and you could feel the energy behind, that championship and the energy in that arena and in the city. And I was just trying to find a way to bring out the most of that energy.
Dude.
And those fans were just so electric, and I don't know how to explain it, but I was just kind of going with the flow and trying to find ways to put into perspective what the city of Oklahoma has kind of went through in the process of supporting Oklahoma, the Thunder, and up to this point. And it was just an electric moment.
Dude, I don't, I'm no connection to Oklahoma City at all, right? Like, zero. Now, we like you, obviously, a ton, and we were rooting for the hell out for you. But, bro, I was ready to run through a wall for you in that moment.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Have you ever considered, like, could pro wrestling maybe be a part of your future somehow? Maybe like a manager that cuts promos or something like that?
I haven't thought that deep into anything like that yet. Maybe that's something I look at down the road, but man, that moment is just one of a kind. That's one that I like.
That was so cool, man. It was so cool. Any chance you've got a little bit of run in you for like Team Shell Shock in the basketball tournament this summer? Any chance that after playing as many games as you did, you could still go give them like a couple minutes during the course of the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, no, not at all. not one bit. Not one bit. I'd love to, but there's no chance. There's no chance.
I've noticed that Maryland alums. Obviously, it's been a tough year for Maryland. And you go back a couple of coaches clearly, but I've seen a lot of alums who've like wanted to be more involved and have wanted to say, hey, we can't have this happen to this program. We need more equity. I know you've had bigger fish to fry. I understand that you were in the process of trying to win an NBA championship. But, like, have you talked to any guys about that? And, like, have you felt a little bit of that, like a desire, hey, we want to have a little bit more ownership and a little bit more involvement with the program to make sure that we get Maryland basketball to where it needs to be?
Yeah, that's definitely been, small topics here and there that I think a lot of guys kind of have had, and even speaking to some of the former teammates that I know, guys are trying to find ways to just kind of make sure that they're being around and finding ways to kind of uplift the whole Maryland basketball program and everything they have going. And I think you'll start to see guys start coming around a little bit more and trying to just kind of be a part of what Maryland has, because I know it's special and it's something that a lot of guys hold dear and near, from their childhood up to this point. So that's definitely something that guys have talked about, and you'll start to see more guys kind of being involved and coming around a little bit.
I think we can agree on one particular aspect, which is that Keith Gatlin should be so very involved with Maryland basketball. He should be like the president of Maryland basketball moving forward.
Man, no question. He'd be a perfect guy to kind of be over there, and that's something that I've had conversations about just in regards of him. There's no reason he's not over there helping out with that program. So, we'll see how things go, but he would definitely be somebody who could have a positive impact over there.
The fourth Maryland alum ever to be an NBA champion, joining Adrian Branch, Keith Booth, and Tony Massenberg. Is that, like, it's a small group of guys. Like, does that resonate with you in any way that, like, that's the company that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, it gives me chills when I hear, like, numbers like that.
Yeah.
Like, how rare of a thing that is, all over the world. So it definitely resonates with me. It's something that I don't take for granted. And like I said, man, it gives me chills. It's hard to kind of completely grasp and understand, just kind of how blessed I am to be, a part of a team that was able to, accomplish something like this. And then also just looking back at the journey and understanding where I came from and how things have played out to this point. So, it's awesome to be a part of that, group of four.
Oh, Aaron, you still there? Oh, I think his phone might have cut out. That's all right. Aaron Wiggins, if you can hear me, just want to tell you, man, how thrilled we are for you. How happy we are, how meaningful it is that you have joined that group of guys, and we'll make sure that we're in touch moving forward. But Aaron, congratulations on being an NBA champion, and thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That's Aaron Wiggins, Maryland basketball legend, now NBA champion with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Happy for him. And appreciate him spending the time with us this morning here on GCR. And they absolutely could win more. That might not be the last one for that nucleus that will completely stay together. And to be able to bring a guy like that, that's the insane part. Like, we know when Aaron Wiggins was playing, regular minutes, he was an incredible contributor. Now they're able to just sort of move him in as another one of their chess pieces. And that's what makes them so scary dangerous. So congratulations to Aaron Wiggins, and appreciate him taking the time for us today. We continue along here on a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, and I think you all know that I have been very involved with Show Your Soft Side for the last few years, and we kind of alternate now every other year. Every other year we do Project Runway, and then in the off years we do now an event called Softie Homecoming, and that event is coming up this Thursday night here in Owings Mills, and we bring back a number of those that have been known as softies over the years. And this guy was a Baltimore Raven a few years back, got involved, and has maintained his commitment to our community and to the work that Show Your Soft Side does for the animals in our community over the years, despite the fact that he's gone from place to place. He's now with our neighbors to the south, and that means that he's close enough geographically that he's able to be back there with us on Thursday night for Softie Homecoming. He is now Commanders wide receiver, former Baltimore Raven. Chris Moore is back with us here on GCR. Chris, it's Glenn. It's always good to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Hey, Glenn, how you doing? I appreciate you having me on.
I'm great, dude. It's great to hear your voice. Can you kind of take me through the history? Because I don't know that you and I have ever just talked about it. How you got hooked up with Show Your Soft Side when you were here in Baltimore, why it was something that mattered to you, and really why it is that you've gone out of your way to come back here year after year to be such a big part of this, really for about as long as these events have existed.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how I got involved, but I believe it was through one of my teammates in Baltimore at the time, Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah.
And, he introduced me to everybody, and, you know, anybody that knows Ronnie, he has his own foundation. He loves dogs to death, so he got me a part of it. I have two dogs of my own, Marley and Malia, and so I love the work that Softside does. You know, animals are creatures that can't defend for themselves, so us as humans being able to just help in any way we can is something I love, and Softside's been doing such a great job over the years, so that's one of the reasons why I love to come back every year and try to do as much as possible.
I think it's incredible. You bring up Ronnie, right? Like, it's almost unbelievable what he does.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a second career for him.
Yeah, what he does is incredible. I'm nowhere near what Ronnie does, and
none of us are.
Dedication he has. Yeah, the dedication he has to these dogs, the willingness to bring them into his home and take care of them and treat them like he does is top notch.
It's an incredibly powerful thing, and it's powerful that you've remained this committed. Are you the type that, like, when you show up to this, you're worried that you might fall in love with the dog that you're walking with, and you might end up with another one every year? Because every time my wife comes out, I am terrified. Like, I've watched how we went from, like, having a dog to then we had another dog, and then all of a sudden we had a cat, and I'm like, oh, God, I love being a part of it. I love dressing like an idiot and doing the whole thing, but I am very worried that on Thursday night, she and my kids are going to be like, we're taking this one.
No, I'm definitely, there's every single year, if it wasn't for my wife and some logic put behind it, I would get a new dog every year for sure. I've already seen my model this year, and is adorable, so it's definitely going to be a challenge. To be honest, me and my wife talked about it. We got two little ones right now. If we didn't have those two little kids, we'd probably have a dog.
How old are your kids?
4 and 1.5.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. That's the problem now. Is mine are 10 and 8, and so they like try to convince me, like, oh, we'll take care of it. And I just know how this goes. We're like, for a couple of weeks they'll be really excited about it, and then a couple weeks later, it's right back to being my responsibility. And I love the dog. Right. I want to make that abundantly clear. I couldn't be more of an animal lover, but it's just a lot. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
It takes a different type of dedication to have that many animals.
No doubt, dude. No doubt. Again, Softie Homecoming is this Thursday night. I'm going to send out on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio a link. There are still some tickets available for you to come out and be a part of it. Guys like Chris will be there. Malik Ham, a current Baltimore Raven, will be there, and more. Chance to rub elbows and catch up. Let's catch up with you, right? Like, I know the last couple of years, the injuries, like, things have been tough, but, like, the fact that you're now a decade in, and you're, you know, maybe the word is survivor, right? Like, this league is a league. We always say it's not for long, right? that
Right.
that you've been able to do this now for a decade, and you've been able to stay in and carve your spot. Do you? I know that you've got too much in front of you. You can't spend a lot of time stopping and smelling the roses. But does that mean something to you that you've already kind of defied the odds of what the typical career is, particularly for someone, that isn't a first-round pick?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a blessing. I mean, me and my wife were reflecting on it this offseason. Like 10 years is we can't fathom it, because when we first got in the league, we're like, man, hopefully we could play maybe 3, 4 if we're lucky, and to get this far is just incredible. And I definitely have taken time to reflect on it, because if you don't, it'll just pass you by and you'll take it for granted. But I mean, it's been incredible, and like you said, I just every year I found a way to make it happen and make the team and survive. So it's definitely a blessing.
What is it about you, Chris? Like, because I think everybody knows one of the standout special teams is like your thing. Was it easy for you to be that guy? Did it take any amount of humility? Did you come in and say, hey, I think I'm Randy Moss. I think I'm Terrell Owens. I think I'm like, how were you able to adjust to being that guy to allow yourself to have this type of career?
Yeah, I believe any player when they first get in the NFL, they think very highly of themselves. So I definitely thought I was going to come here and be that guy. But what really helped me shift my focus was my rookie year. Chris Horton, the current special teams coach for the Baltimore Ravens, he sat me down one-on-one and he showed me gunner clips of Matthew Slater, who played for the Patriots for I want to say 15 years, just doing special teams. And he said, if you want to provide for your family and have a long career, he's like, master this. And when he told me that, I was like, that's it. Like, you don't have to say anything else to me. I'm going to work as hard as I can, run as hard as I can, and try to make this career last as long as it can. And if that's the way you can do it, why not?
Man, it's worked out pretty well. It's worked out incredibly well for you. I now in D.C., I'm not trying to make Jaden Daniels Lamar Jackson, because no one's Lamar Jackson, right? Like, we know that this is it's one of one. It's unfair, but we saw it. Like, those guys came and played in Baltimore last year, and we saw it up close. And this kid is special. I know you've been going through the off-season stuff. How excited? Is this the best quarterback you've been around since Lamar Jackson? Like, how fired up are you about being able to work with this guy?
Yeah, I'm very excited. He's definitely going to be a generational talent. He's an amazing quarterback. He's an amazing person as well, and his dedication to the game is incredible. For somebody being so young, the time and effort and energy they give to the game is what he does is incredible. So I'm super excited.
Dude, we had a conversation with him because he was in town. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award after, and it sounded like I was talking to a 30-year-old. Like, he just he's an incredibly smart person, and like it seems like the game is already kind of slowed down for him, not deep into his pro career.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I just know I've seen him. Like I said, the dedication he takes to studying and understanding his game and understanding defenses. I mean, it was no surprise to see how he did so well last year. So I'm excited to see what he keeps doing, because he's going to be incredible.
And I don't know, it might be that there wasn't, a million teams that were beating down your door, but was part of that why it was exciting for you to be in Watch, that you look and you see Jaden Daniels' team that clearly appears to be on the come, like that you said, let me have a piece of that.
Yeah, definitely. When you're looking at teams, and especially as a receiver, you want to be a part of be with a great quarterback, be paired up with somebody who loves to throw the ball, who's a pro and who truly loves the game. So that was exciting, and it also helps when you got an offensive coordinator like Cliff too. Like I think so highly of him as an offensive coordinator, and I love his offense. So it was definitely a no-brainer.
You got to be around Derrick Henry a couple years ago. That guy is a different. We didn't know before he showed up in Baltimore. Like, I was completely unaware of like the Derrick Henry diet. Was he doing the bit there where he was walking around like eating bowls of kale with no salad dressing, no like anything at all, just plain bowls of spinach and kale?
I mean, he takes care of his body to another degree. That's the only way a back like that can survive so long in the league. But like, the biggest thing I saw is on example of that. When we're going on away trips, he would have a cooler, like a little lunchbox cooler of just all his meals and stuff. So he would make sure he ate clean all the time. His dedication to his body is incredible.
Were you, like, when he ended up leaving and coming to Baltimore, there was a lot of people that were like, yeah, I don't know, he's past 30. Did you know that, like, there's no expiration date on Derrick Henry? Like, he really is just that much of a unicorn?
Yes. I mean, when I was in Tennessee, we had a down year, but he didn't. And the way he runs and how physically gifted he is, I mean, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to play as long as he wants to.
Man.
He's just built different. He's one of a kind for sure.
It's so funny because I'll do, like, hits on the radio all over the country, and they'll be like, what do you think about it? I'm like, I don't know, dude. This guy might be able to play until he's 50. Like, there's something about standing next to him. Like, you're an athletic dude. Like, you are, the peak. But he's not human. Like,
no, he's not. That's the first running back I ever got in the huddle with, and he made me feel tiny.
Right.
I was like, God, dude, this man's different.
Like, are we the same species?
Yeah, exactly. There's people that are just once-in-a-lifetime builds, and he is definitely one of those.
It's unbelievable, man. It's so, and the impact that he had on other guys. Like, it is really cool to talk to. Like, I was talking to Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell about him last year, and, like, they soak up so much from that dude. Like, just...
Yeah.
Like, you learn about being a professional in a way that, like, maybe other human beings can't do. It's a really cool thing.
Right.
Chris, tell me about your dogs. I want to know about yours. Tell me about them, where you met them, how they became part of your life, and the whole 9 yards.
Well, I got both my dogs before I got involved with Softie. So
Okay.
I purchased both my dogs. I wish I can go back and actually adopt a dog, but my first dog is Marley. He's a mini golden doodle. I believe he's 9 years old now. He's getting up there, but he's still a little puppy. He has a ball of energy, and I mean, like I said, to this day he's a puppy. I don't think he'll ever change no matter how old he gets. And then my other dog is Malia, and she's a Roddy Poo, and that's my girl. She loves me. She hangs around me all the time, tries to put her head in my lap all day, and yeah, that's my girl right
That's
there.
adorable. That is adorable. Yeah, to your point, obviously the message we try to share is adopt, don't shop, but we get it. Like, we want you to take care of them. That's the part that matters.
Yeah.
That
no, my dogs are spoiled, bro.
Yeah. I have no doubt that is true and that they are living the good life, man. I have no doubt that is the case. And let me just wrap, because I brought up the Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson thing, right? Like, did you know when he showed up what Lamar Jackson was going to be, Chris? Like, just then, like, was there a moment you're like, oh my God, like this is unlike anything I've ever seen before?
100%. I vividly remember one of the first times of practice when he was there. It was during the off season. He took off scrambling, and I've never seen a human run straight and then change direction and run sideways just as fast, and then turn back upfield. And I was like, yeah, I think everybody on the field looked at each other and already just started shaking their head, knowing like this guy is going to be another generational talent on the football field. Because I haven't seen a human, especially a quarterback, that can move like that.
Did you, like, there are still people that doubt that dude, right? Like, that they still exist somehow. I don't know how. I think it's got to be exhausting, but there are still people. Yeah. What do you say to those people that still have doubts about, like, Lamar Jackson somehow?
Yeah, you need to watch the games, or you must not be watching. Wipe your eyes or something, because, I mean, besides his running, the way he's able to position his arm angles and make some throws out of the pocket, it's insane. Like, I don't know. If anybody that doubts Lamar, they're not watching.
Yeah.
They just want to talk.
Yep.
They want to be
They want attention. 100%. They want attention.
Because that's an incredible quarterback. He's also an incredible leader. Like, the way he holds himself accountable, more so than everybody else. Like, he holds himself to such a high degree of accountability. It's incredible, and that's the type of guy you want to play with every week. So, I mean, I love Lamar. I have nothing but high praises about him.
Chris.Moore on Instagram is how everybody can follow you. Chris, is there anything else that we can plug for you that you've got going on? Obviously, we want to see everybody out. The important part is we want to see everybody out Thursday night at Softie Homecoming. We know that much.
Yeah.
So get your tickets. Yeah,
no, nothing else for me. I'm a Softie through and through. So if anybody that hasn't got their tickets yet, please go out there and get them. help this great organization continue to do what they do in the community, because they definitely need all the help they can get, and we need more people to just continue to support and help these animals because they deserve all our care.
Yeah, and there's going to be amazing food on Thursday night, too, on top of everything else. ShowYourSoftSide.org is the website. Get your tickets for Softie Homecoming. Chris Moore, it's going to be great to see you, man. Appreciate everything that you continue to do for this organization and our community. Always rooting for you, brother. Thank you for spending time with us this morning, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having us. Can't wait to see you.
That's Chris Moore, the Washington Commanders, former Baltimore Raven. Hey, we're going to have a special guest join us when we come back in. Someone who got to hear his name called, a local, Ellicott City's own Aidan West, drafted by the Dodgers yesterday in the 4th round. He's going to join us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Calling all athletes and families, don't miss Football versus Football, a free sports and wellness festival Saturday, July 19th from 10 to 6 at Baltimore Peninsula. Meet retired Ravens, other former NFL stars, and pro soccer players. Join youth sports clinics, get free health screenings, and enjoy food, music, and family fun. Powered by United Healthcare, presented by Sports Legacy Group, and supported by University of Maryland Orthopedics and 1-800-GAMBLER.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
Summer just got a whole lot merrier at Live Casino. Win your share of $30,000 during Christmas in July. Earn entries starting July 1st. Dash in on Saturday, July 26th to be one of 50 winners to unwrap top-of-the-line electronics, home appliances, free play, and other great gifts. Go all in on good cheer at Live Casino. At Erindale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. And the MLB Draft continued yesterday, and some locals heard their names called, including our next guest. The pride of Longreach, he went to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 4th round of the draft. He is Aidan West, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Aidan, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Congratulations, and thank you for taking the time for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Aidan, there's so much I wanted to talk to you about. If I could start, I think that for a lot of people, part of what makes it so exciting that you got to hear your name called is the fact that you went the public school route in order to do it. Can you take us through? Because I have no doubt that there were plenty of opportunities for you to consider other things. Why was it that Long Reach was the right place for you to be, for you to stay, and for you to take this step in your journey to now having been drafted by the LA Dodgers?
Yeah, for sure. It started off, I was committed to NC State in November of my freshman year. So really the main part of me going to a private school would have been to maybe get looked at by more colleges. But even overall, the place where you get looked at the most by college coaches and pro coaches is in the summer. So it really depends on your summer team and where you're playing at. So I knew that part of it. And then also my dad's a teacher. He actually taught my high school head coach in second grade. So I've known him for a pretty long time, and I've always had a strong connection. And my best friend that lives across the street, that we've been playing together since we were like 8, 9 years old, going to the same high school, and we were both able to start on varsity our freshman year. So for us, it was really about creating a legacy there and leaving it way better than we found it and changing the narrative for sure.
Man, that's really cool. Did you, I'm sure there were people that kind of pressured you or suggested, what is your message to other kids? Is it that, hey, you don't have to go that route. You can do it this way and find success?
Yeah, I would like to think of myself as living proof of that for sure. And not only me, you look at guys like Jackson Merrill, what he's doing right now.
Severna Park,
public school in Maryland. So,
yeah.
It's definitely not the only way to go. A lot of kids, similar situation to me, both parents are teachers. Private schools obviously cost money too. And, the transportation was going to be an issue too. So I really never, took anything for granted either. I always took pride in going to a public school, going to Long Reach. And I got interviewed about a month before the draft, and someone asked me, what was going to be the best part? And I said, honestly, here in Long Reach High School being called
that's cool.
on MLB Network. So that's definitely something to take a lot of pride in and, make your own route. Don't follow others.
What about what it means, though, all of Howard County? Because I was seeing this yesterday. It seems like all of Howard County was celebrating right along with you, and including some of the leaders and officials down. How much did that mean to you that the entire county seemed to be embracing this moment for you?
Yeah, it just makes it mean that much more. Like I said, that's another thing of going to a public high school is you have the whole county supporting you.
Yeah.
I had Calvin Ball, the director, executive, and all those guys reach out and congratulate me, which is just really cool to, put yourself in a community like that and see them root for you along the way.
That's so cool, man. That is so cool. All right, Aidan, take us back, right? Obviously you knew baseball. You said you were committed as a freshman, so clearly you knew. What was the path for you? Was it always baseball? When did you fall in love with the sport? Why did you fall in love with the sport? When did you know it was what you wanted to continue to do in your life?
Yeah, it was always just really natural for me. Growing up, my dad played basically every single sport growing up. He grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. He was a state champ in BMX, so I even tried, BMX bikes for a little bit. But baseball just really stuck with me. It's a different competitive nature than every other sport. I'm sure a lot of people know if you fail 7 times out of 10, you're still a Hall of Famer. So stuff like that just keeps me going, and knowing that it's an impossible sport to be perfect at just keeps me going further and further every day. And like I said, it was always just natural to me. And my dad always tells this story. When I was 5 years old, he was chilling in the basement watching an Orioles game, and I came down to watch an inning with him, and then I left when the commercial breaks came on. He thought that was it, and then I ended up going back downstairs and watching the whole game with him.
Wow.
So just stuff like that just makes it that much sweeter for sure. And I've always really known that that baseball was my sport, and that's what I was good at and wanted to stick to.
Did I read correctly that like you were a big Adam Jones guy?
I was, yeah, huge.
So
that's still the reason why I wear high socks. I've always worn high socks.
Oh, that's
because of
cool.
him. So like when there would be like one game out of the month where he would wear low socks, and I would get mad at him through the TV. So I grew up going to like Orioles Fan Fest. Yeah, that's a funny story. I grew up going to Orioles Fan Fest, and I got to meet him a couple times, along with like Jonathan Scope, like Manny Machado, all those guys. So
Man,
that was pretty cool.
That's cool. So it would have been a really cool story if it had been Orioles, but like this is still a really cool story this way. Have you thought about like what that would be one day to come back and play at Camden Yards? Has that like thought crossed your mind a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hopefully I'm striving to be in the big leagues one day, especially playing for a team like the Dodgers. I mean, It's so historic, obviously the best team in baseball. So being able to travel across the coast to where I'm from playing for the Dodgers would be, a dream come true for me.
Oh, man, that would be so, so cool. I guess let me make sure I take care of this. I feel like I saw that you had made the decision already that you were going to sign, but I don't know if that's true. Like, have you made that decision about if you're going to go ahead and go?
Not fully. Have not signed yet, but definitely working it out with my agent and all that stuff are helping me do that, especially now that the draft's over. So yeah, I'm looking forward to be a Dodger for sure.
I was going to say these are pretty decent choices to be able to make at your age. A lot of people are thinking about other things in your life. You got some pretty good options in front of you.
Yes,
did you know like the Dodgers were in play? Had you been like in touch with them? Did you realize? And I'm sure there's like an element of you want to hear your name called as early as possible. What is that like over the first couple of days of the draft of, the itchiness that I want to hear it and then finally getting that call and knowing that you've been selected?
Yeah, the Dodgers were a team that I had done a lot of workouts for, and I knew they were really heavily interested. So honestly, I had a really good feeling that it was going to be them or two other clubs. So they were always like someone that I knew was going to be a good shot. And the way the draft worked out this year, especially with the first 3 rounds being the first day, basically the 4th and 3rd round kind of switched places.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of college guys got selected in the 3rd round, which gave teams the opportunity to have another night to think about what high school guys they want to select in the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds. So I had gotten a call after the draft ended the first night from my agent. It was probably like 12:30 in the morning. And he called me, the Dodgers made an offer and called my family and we took it. So we knew I was going the next day unless another team came in and scooped me up first. But, I had definitely a good census that the Dodgers were going to take me in the 4th round.
Man, that's cool. This is the Dodgers we're talking about, right? Like this is, at the moment, probably the preeminent organization in all of baseball. How much more does that mean to you? Again, obviously you would have been excited for it to be the Orioles, something like that, but like this is the freaking Los Angeles Dodgers that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely means that much more. I mean, when you think of baseball, you think of the Dodgers. You think of Shohei, you think of Mookie, you think about that super squad, and all a kid can ever envision growing up playing baseball is playing for a team like that and helping a team win a World Series. So that's what I'll be striving for in the organization, and looking forward to keep steady climbing.
I know there's another local kid in the system, Peter Hubeck, who went to Gilman.
Yeah.
Do you know Peter at all? Have you had a conversation with him?
Yeah, he reached out yesterday to congratulate me. Obviously, another Baltimore kid that's going to the Dodgers. So it just makes it that much easier to get settled into the system when, you have a guy like that that's going to be, super close and that you can reach out to anytime.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Aidan, what should people know about you as a baseball player? Like, obviously, you're a great young man and a tremendous representative of Long Reach and Howard County. But what is it that the Dodgers and their organization are getting in Aidan West, the baseball player?
Yeah, it's a super passionate kid. I love playing the game. I'll literally do anything to help my team win, whether I was in a 12U All-Star game or, competing for a championship, I'm going to play the same way. So that's always how I've played. I've always, if anything's going wrong, I just remember it's a kid's game, and that's why I fell in love with it in the first place, and I'm always going to, think of it like that. So it's definitely something that I think about every day, go to sleep thinking about it, wake up thinking about it, and if you don't have that mindset, you're not going to end up making it. So that's definitely how I play the game and how I think of the game, and it just never leaves my mind.
Are you confident that it's short? It's funny, right? Because Adam was a shortstop, right? Ended up, being one of the best center fielders of a generation. Are you confident that it's shortstop? Have you been playing other spots, like knowing, hey, I'm about to be playing wherever it is that they're telling me that I'm going to play in the next couple of months?
Yeah. You think of Adam, you think of, even Jackson went from short to center. So it's definitely something that I've always been a shortstop. All my favorite players growing up were all shortstops. So I definitely want to stick at shortstop as long as possible. But obviously, I want to get to the big leagues as soon as possible. So if that means, trying out third or moving a second or moving a center, it's I'll do anything to help the team win and be in the lineup and continue to succeed.
That's awesome, man. Aidan, where are you on social media? Instagram, Twitter, anywhere like that folks can be giving you a follow as you go through this journey?
Yeah, Instagram is Aidan West with 2 I's, AIIDAN, and then West. And then on Twitter, it's Aidan West _9. So I try to keep up with those as much as possible. Obviously, today and yesterday,
a little overwhelmed.
Pretty crazy. So, that was pretty crazy. It's it's definitely something that you dream about. All those people reaching out and wanting to follow you and Dodgers fan pages. So it's definitely a dream come true, and I'm looking forward to keep dreaming on for sure.
Dude, so happy for you. And I've heard from a lot of folks about what a special human being you are, and it's just awesome to see you find some success, man. We will be rooting for you. Right up until the day that you are playing against the Orioles at Camden Yards, and we'll still root for you personally. You just understand, there'll be some conflict at that point.
Of course, yeah.
Best of luck, man, and we will be in touch. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning, man, and go get them, all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Aidan West, Long Reach alum, now joining the LA Dodgers, and we're really fired up for him, very excited for what's in front of him as he makes this jump to his pro career. Appreciate him spending the time with us, and, man, you kind of would have loved to have seen that. You're excited for him, but then there's a party that's like, man, kind of wish it would have been here, right?
Black.
That would have been neat. That would have
been
cool.
Kid, though.
I should point out that on tomorrow's show, we are scheduled to be joined by Ike Irish, Orioles first-round pick. So looking forward to that. We actually have made this a kind of a tradition in recent years. We did it with Enrique Bradfield and his dad, that when the Orioles first-round pick is the son of a baseball player, we try to have both of them on at the same time. So Ike and his father, John, are going to join us tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that. We come back in. We'll get a tidbit and tubular to wind things down. If you missed Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson, they got together yesterday. And you can find it at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1970. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
This August, the PGA Tour's best are coming to Maryland. The 2025 BMW Championship tees off August 12th through 17th at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills. See the top 50 players battle it out in the penultimate event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't miss your chance to witness world-class golf, fan experiences, and unforgettable moments. Tickets are on sale now at BMWChampionship.com. The BMW Championship, where legends take the lead.
Summer just got a whole lot merrier at Live Casino. Win your share of $30,000 during Christmas in July. Earn entries starting July 1st. Dash in on Saturday, July 26th to be one of 50 winners to unwrap top-of-the-line electronics, home appliances, free play, and other great gifts. Go all in on good cheer at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, winding down for a Tuesday edition of the program. Today's show has also been brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star, which is back in Cecil County this October at Fair Hill. Maryland 5-Star with a number 5, maryland5star.us is the website. For you to get your tickets, if you never experienced it before, it's awesome. It is the Triple Crown of equestrian. It is incredible athletes, amazing horses. But I didn't know anything about equestrian when I started going to the Maryland 5-Star, and I'm telling you, I soaked it up immediately because it's also a true celebration of fall in the state of Maryland. Maryland5star.us, again, to get your tickets. I'm trying to think if there's anything that happened that we didn't cover. I feel like this is the nature of All-Star Week. There's just not normally a lot going on. All
right, I'll slide in here and say, on behalf of Jerry Coleman, a new episode has dropped at the Be More Sports podcast now. Find us on YouTube and our socials. Jerry Coleman, you're welcome.
Be
More Sports Pod.
Good morning, Jerry. Good morning. Love you, buddy. Love you, buddy. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. Carmelo Anthony's on the cover as we celebrate Baltimore's first ever basketball Hall of Famer. He's going in this summer. And a great story talking to those who knew Carmelo Anthony about how Baltimore shaped his legendary career. Go pick up that print issue of Press Box at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box, read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. What you got for tidbits?
I hope Ryan O'Hearn slides in as the All-Star Game MVP tonight. He has a few knocks or a grand slam or does something funny on open mic. But if he's not, I mean, at least we have 4 other Orioles that have been on there before.
Sure have.
Who are they?
Cal Ripken.
Twice.
Miguel Tejada.
That's a good one. Yes, sir.
That was in Detroit, if I remember correctly.
He was in the Derby, too, I believe.
Did he win the Derby?
No, I don't think he did.
Okay.
He had a home run in the All-Star game. I know.
I do that.
And
I know
that's
that.
a big reason why he got the MVP.
Brooks,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And then you said there were 4?
Yep. So there's one more.
Who the hell else has been All-Star MVP? Man.
Try not to help you on this one.
Wow.
Wasn't anybody recent, I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would.
Tejada was the last one.
Was it Robbie Alomar?
Surprisingly not.
No? Okay. Man. How far back am I going? I'm going back.
Way beyond 1980, so we're looking at the 60s and 70s.
Frank?
Bingo.
Okay. Man. That's one of those things I probably used to be able to tell like right off the top of my head because I used to have all those things filed away.
You know,
who else won the home run derby?
You know I like challenging you a bit.
No, I should have had that immediately. Orioles.
Ripken won it. I know that.
Right. Cal Ripken. Tejada did win the home run derby.
Did, okay.
Wait. This can't be right. This is an AI thing because it also says Trey Mancini won and he did not. So let's go ahead and hang on a second. Hang on. Did who won the 2004? Hang on a second. I'll tell you. Miguel Tejada did win in 2004.
But
Trey Mancini definitely did not win the home run derby.
Animated idiocracy, not.
Yeah. Because that's when you search that Orioles home run derby winners on Google. It's like their AI pops up first and it says 3 Orioles have won the home run derby.
Nope.
And I'm like, wait, no. And it was wonderful. It was a very emotional scene.
How dare AI stand up to Glenn Clark?
Well, and look, I love Trey, and it was a beautiful scene that he got to participate, but we all know he did not win the home run derby.
Thanks, Pete.
Memorable moment. Trey Mancini winning or participating in the home run derby after beating cancer. Adley Rutschman's home run derby was very memorable because of doing the. Did somebody do that last night? Do the both sides?
I don't know.
Did Cal Raleigh do that? I guess he would make sense as a switch hitter.
Yeah. But I don't think anybody had ever done it before.
I believe that was the case. All right, let's get tubular.
Okay, everybody, it's going to be quick today.
What was the main focus today, Coach?
Fundamentals, ball control. It's always huge.
Any early thoughts on the competition this year?
Well, look, this is the best of the best players in the world. It's going to be an amazing tournament.
Tournament?
Yeah, the BMW Championship at Caves Valley. What are you guys talking about? All they ever ask me about is football.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise, and it's the one thing. That's what's coming up. The All-Star Game tonight on Fox, 8 o'clock. The starting pitchers for the All-Star Game are Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens. Ryan O'Hearn, I believe, is batting 6th, correct, in the American League lineup. So All-Star Game tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. WNBA tonight on ESPN. Fever Sun at 8 o'clock. Monumental has Mystic Sparks at 10. The Copa America Femenina, Uruguay and Argentina at 5. Peru and Ecuador at 8. Some Summer League across NBA TV, ESPN, ESPN2, and the CW for WWE NXT tonight at 8 as well. Non-sports. Baltimore's own Julie Bowen will be on Jimmy Kimmel tonight with Chris DiStefano. I assume Julie Bowen's got to be in Happy Gilmore too, right? Like, I don't know that. And it's not going to get me to watch Happy Gilmore 2. That's not going to occur, but hang on a second. I assume she would reprise her role. Julie Bowen, is back as Virginia in Happy Gilmore 2, so I assume that's what she's talking about tonight on Kimmel. I will not watch. That will not occur. No chance in hell.
That's a heck of a cast, though, if you just saw it.
I have a thing. I don't know that Adam Sandler movies got so terrible that I refuse to watch them again because I'm convinced that maybe the original ones that I loved weren't actually good either, and I was just young and an idiot. So I refuse to watch them, and I refuse to watch this.
Waterboy's good.
I think you're right, but I'll never know again. Like I'm just gonna live with I loved Waterboy, and it's fine that I loved Waterboy. I don't ever need to watch it again.
All right, Glenn Grant, Griffin movie night.
I don't need to find out that it actually isn't great, and that's what the rest of Adam Sandler's career would suggest. So I just want to enjoy what I enjoy. I'll always have the memories. My kids can watch those movies. I will never watch Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Waterboy,
list goes on.
Wedding Singer, any of the movies, the Adam Sandler movies that I enjoyed. No, that movie is one of the worst motion pictures ever made. In fact, quite possibly the worst motion picture ever made.
It doesn't make sense.
Dude, I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, you can find the rest of Tubular at glennclarkradio.com. Thanks today to Aidan West from Longreach. Thanks to Aaron Wiggins. It was a big day for AWs. It was a big AW day. Thanks also to Aaron Wiggins, NBA champion. Thanks to Chris Moore and also to Bill Ripken. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. As I mentioned, Ike Irish scheduled to join us tomorrow, as is Juju Reese, former Terp, who's now with the Lakers in the Summer League, and Stuff and Things as well on Wednesday's show. Thanks to everybody at PressBox. All of our great sponsors and partners, including the Maryland 5-Star, Game Day Men's Health, Live Casino and Hotel, the BMW Championship Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 Golf Courses, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costa Sin, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Grant. It's at GDeVivo20.
Close. You flipped off the 20.
At
20
GDeVivo. My fault. I'm sorry.
It's my expired high school email.
There you go. You can follow him on Instagram there. And thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday night. Go Ryan O'Hearn. Sure. Duke sucks.